Hi everyone, my name is Mrs. Obsosnik. Welcome to SAT Prep. I will be your teacher for this 9 weeks. So I'll teach you the math portion of SAT Prep and then you'll switch to a different teacher for the English portion. So I just want to take a few minutes today and talk about course expectations. I want to walk you through the Schoology website for this class. So when you log into Schoology, you will locate your SAT Prep tab or course. And then once you've done that, you'll see a page that looks pretty similar to what I have here. Now yours is going to be the student view, so some minor changes, but again, similar to what I'm sharing with you on my screen. So I just have a banner here with the course name and my name, and then all of these other kind of objects here are buttons for you to click on. And so the first one here, course information, we'll take a look at in just a few minutes. That's going to have your syllabus there and then any other kind of general information about the course. We have a button here for Khan Academy. A lot of the practice that you're going to do throughout the course of this 9 weeks is going to come from the SAT Prep practice section of Khan Academy. So it'll be linked right there for you. This, where it says this week's work, is actually a banner or a button for you to click on. It's going to link you to a Google Doc of a schedule for the week. So when you click on that, it's going to come up with expectations for Monday through Friday. There will be links on that Google Doc. So you can go ahead on Monday, if it says that you're working on a certain section or to view a certain video, you can click right on that link and get to it from this week's work. So it's kind of straightforward, laying it out all for you in one place. You can also access those same documents in these buttons here, just organized in a different way. So current unit will take you to everything that you need for what we're working on currently. So starting us off, we're going to work on a pretest assessment. And so that pretest is what's linked now under current unit. And then once we finish that pretest, that link will change to link us to the first content area. This next button here is our worksheets, and then we have our notes. So any PowerPoints or videos, anything that we go through in terms of learning new material is going to be under that button. And then everything will be archived in this previous unit. So if you want to go back at the end of the 9 weeks and review anything, you can access it there. If I scroll down a little bit further, you can also get that same material through the folders. So if you're more of a folder person organization-wise, just kind of scroll down to view that there. Also on the page below that banner and all of the buttons is our link for WebEx. And so we're going to be using WebEx for our synchronous virtual meetings. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this here. And again, yours will look a little bit different than what my screen looks like here, just because I have the teacher view and you're going to have the student view. But this is just taking a while to connect. Let me try and refresh here real quick. Okay, so while I'm waiting on that to load, I do also want to show you here, if you log in to the Schoology app on your phone, for example, or on a tablet, it's going to look a little bit different. So this is our SAT Prep page right here. From the Schoology app. This is just a screenshot from my phone. So you can see that you don't get that banner that it says SAT Prep with all of the buttons. So here you're going to have to navigate through the folders to get your materials. I did try and make that a little bit easier for you by at the top just linking to this week's work. So if you click on that link, it's going to take you to that same Google Doc, and then it'll have that outline of the week with the links to any tasks that you need to complete. And then below it is the WebEx, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, and then those same folders. So just know that when you log in on your phone on the app, it's just not going to look as, we'll say, pretty as what's on the Schoology site if you're using your Chromebook. Okay, so that being said, it looks like WebEx is loaded here. And so when you pull up that WebEx link, all of our items are going to be under this virtual meetings tab. So you will have to switch over. My computer is being a little delayed here. Okay, so if it does load and on this classroom collaboration tab, you're going to switch over to virtual meetings. And then when you get into virtual meetings, you're going to see any upcoming meetings that are scheduled. And then you would just click on join, and then it'll go ahead and join the meeting. So here I have everything set up for us. It does say that we start at 11:25 a.m. That's not the exact start time for 6th period, but we have to put things in 5-minute increments. So don't worry about that. exact time of 11:25. Just make sure that you're on time for period 6. So then I'm the host. Yours should say join here, and you'll just click join, and it'll ask you if you want to join in the browser or if you want to download the WebEx app. I believe if you're working on a Chromebook, you're not going to be able to use the WebEx app. Just view from a browser, and then you'll be able to participate in our class discussions. Okay, so the only other thing that I wanted to discuss with you today from your page, give this a minute to load back up here for us, is just the course syllabus. So if I go here into course information and then SAT prep syllabus, it's going to pull that PDF up for me right here. And so we're just going to take a few minutes and talk about the course expectations. Some of this does include items that are pertinent to whether we would be in the actual physical classroom. So obviously for now, while we're virtual, you can kind of ignore things like treating the physical space with respect. So goals of the class is just to get you ready to take the SAT and to boost that score as much as possible. And really, we're only together for 9 weeks, and you're going to get the most out of this class if you put the most into it. So doing things like trying to cheat on the practice tests or trying to kind of rush through Khan Academy assignments, it's not really going to help you boost your SAT scores. So you do want to make sure that when we take the practice tests, for example, you're taking your time, you're taking them seriously like you would if you were taking the actual SAT test. Expectations, make sure you're participating in class. So if we have a WebEx meeting and you have questions about a topic that we were working on, please make sure you speak up and we'll work those out. I can work them on the board for you and show you exactly how everything is solved, and then you'll see that right there on your computer screen, so we can kind of video that way. And then make sure that you ask for help. So it's kind of going along with the same thing of participating. Be prepared for class. So as far as virtual learning goes, that would be being on time for your synchronous meetings and making sure that all required work is complete. If we're in the actual classroom, then you would make sure that you brought your Chromebook, something to write with, and a calculator to class with you. As far as your calculator goes for the math portion of this class, I would use the calculator that you're going to use when you take the SAT. So I wouldn't really use your phone calculator unless it's an absolute must, because you can't use that calculator when you take the SAT. So if you have a scientific laying around somewhere, go ahead and dig that out, because that's what you want to practice with. So that if you're trying to get something to work on your calculator and it's just not working for you, we can figure out what's going on with your calculator so that you're comfortable with it on the actual SAT test day. And then here, like I said, this doesn't really apply right now, but just treating the classroom with respect when we're back in the classroom setting. And then as far as your grading goes, you may or may not be aware that this is a pass-fail class. So you won't actually get a letter grade. Your grade in the grade book will be a letter grade as we continue through the 9 weeks, because I just put things in as points. But then just know that as long as you actually have a passing grade, then it's going to go on your transcript as a pass or a fail if you're failing. So the way that you're graded is that when you take a practice test, each section is worth 10 points, and you get 10 points if you do and score the practice test when appropriate. So you aren't graded on how well you do on that practice test. So starting tomorrow, we're going to do an introductory pre-test just to get a baseline for you. And if you're a little rusty coming off of the summer, it's not a big deal. Just give it an honest effort. And then that way, hopefully we'll see improvement as we take practice tests throughout the course of the 9 weeks. And then as far as your in-class practice goes, like I said, most of them are going to be on Khan Academy, and most of them are about 5 questions each. You need to get a passing score on the Khan Academy, so at least 3 out of the 5 questions correct to get full credit. Now, if you try the section on Khan Academy and you're struggling, you can take it again. So if you take it a second time, as long as you get a passing score at some point, then you get that full credit of 2 points. If you are really struggling, you tried it several times, I've helped you, you still can't seem to get that passing score, that's okay. You're still going to get half credit for your attempt, and then you would get no credit if you didn't attempt it at all. And then all of your other rules are going to follow the student handbook. Like I said, a lot of this grading is just based on whether you do the assignment or not. So if you come in and if you do what I ask you to do, then you should pass this course. But again, the more you put into it, so the more honest you are with yourself in these practice tests, and the more effort you put into asking questions when you're not clear, those are the things that are going to really help you boost your SAT score. So I look forward to our future meetings. Tomorrow we are going to start with a practice test. So like I said, that's to get a baseline. If you are asynchronous tomorrow, excuse me, you will just pull up the document from that this week's schedule link that I was talking about and do the practice test there. If you're synchronous, I'll meet with you on WebEx. We'll open that call just to kind of practice with that, get that working, and then you'll get started on that practice test as well, just in real time.